as you get older, you need to have those strong muscles that are supporting your bones and your joints, because it's going to hold you together, you know. When I turned 50, I decided that it was time to choose myself and put myself first. My main motivation for working out is to physically stay healthy, stay limber, stay, you know, agile. When you reach a certain age, you just sort of blow right through that. When you really want something, there's nothing you can't do.
Jennie, everybody wave, say hello, clap,
Hi.
applaud.
Hello, nation.
So this is really, again, I'm repeating myself, but it's just a real pleasure to have you on here. You know, you've got a lot of fans here. A lot of folks have watched you over the years and followed you as well. And you know, it's not easy in the biz for a lot of people. You know, as their careers progress, to stay in shape and be healthy and live that lifestyle. You know what I mean? Especially for a lot of folks, it wasn't really part of who they were when they were, you know, maybe working in this town. And you're just a brilliant example of somebody who said, hey, I've had great success and I know what it's going to take for me to continue to have that. And that's just taking care of myself. So, you know, kudos to you. So go for it, girlfriend.
I'm a fan of yours. I just want to have a moment because I worked out with you for a long time. We used to have your VHS tapes.
Oh gosh.
And we would do them in the gym. Yeah, I remember P90X. That was a little aggressive for me, but I did it anyway. But yeah, I've been working out with you for a long time, so I feel like we're old friends.
Well, maybe we'll just do it in person at some point if you like.
Okay.
You're welcome anytime to come up to Queens Ferry. Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, every time I hear that, you know, I'm a little starstruck. I'm not going to lie to you. That's partly why I'm acting so nervously. But to hear that you actually worked out to one of my routines is crazy. You know, my wife and I were in Vegas this past week, and it was like, Sean was like, did you pay all these people to come up to you and say hello? It was just wild. I mean, because the P90X is a bit old now. So, but people are still doing it, and they're doing other stuff as well, like our brand new Power of 4 and stuff. So, just glad that I'm still quasi relevant. You know what I'm saying, at my age. So my first question to you, and you can take it from here, is at what point did you discover? Obviously, you worked out with me, so there was a lot of body weight and weight training and yoga and you name it. We did it all with P90X. Not so much with the earlier VHS versions when I was a wee lad. Oh, Charlie's gone off to bark again. I'm just going to close the door. He wants to bark at everybody. Charlie, go get him, buddy. Okay, everybody wants down now. Go for it.
I feel like I should entertain everyone now that you're gone. I'll show you my dog. Look, this is Buddy.
See. I was dying to show you mine, but they're outstanding. Which one is that?
This is Buddy. He's a little rescue.
Oh, yeah. All three of ours are rescues as well. Hi, Buddy. Nice.
He's always right here with me in my chair.
Nice.
I'm working on the computer. So
very
yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Okay, what do you want to ask me?
Well, you know, I mean, you know, you look pretty good for 50 or whatever you are, I got to say. So obviously, you're taking care of yourself. Has it always been something you've been interested in? I mean, when you were younger, were you a young athlete at all, or when did all this begin? This fitness journey of yours, and especially weight training. All the dogs are showing up.
I used to be a dancer when I was in high school, and I thought I was going to grow up and become a dance teacher. That's just what I thought. And then things took a shift, and I landed in Hollywood, and I don't know if you know this, but I used to have my own exercise video back in the 90s. That's right. It was called Jennie Garth, Body in Progress. And it was really a great way to deliver a message to young people that were fans of the show, fans of mine at that time, because I was in my late teens, early 20s when I made that.
Oh, wow.
It was just about body image and, you know, taking care of yourself and not giving into all those mental traps that we all do. And so I'm really proud of that. And it's been a minute since that's been out, but I'm thinking about making Jennie Garth Body in Progress #2. So we'll see what happens with that. But it's the truth, because my body is still in progress. I mean, over the many, many years of my life and my career, my weight has been up and down. I spent my 20s and my 30s basically either pregnant or recovering from a pregnancy. So, rebounding and having to be right back on camera a month after delivery, a month before, a few weeks before the baby came, and then a month after. And so I've always just been, fighting it. And if you go in my closet, there are clothes in all different sizes. Because it has, your weight fluctuates, your body changes. And well, when I got into really good shape when I turned 40. And then when I turned 50, I said, let's do that again. And I just started really focusing on getting my butt to the gym. And I changed my my diet. I stopped drinking alcohol. Stopped eating sugar. Oh my gosh.
Hello.
That was hard. But it was like a challenge. And so I knew if I just challenged myself, I could do it. And here I am, no sugar, loving it. And I have so much energy, Tony. Oh my God. Like, I don't know how I fall asleep at night, but I do. And I sleep great. But I'm like the Energizer Bunny all day long.
Wow. It's interesting that you bring up the alcohol and sugar thing. I mean, everybody who's watching and listening in know that I'm always pounding that intel into everybody's head. And, those are two things that we really enjoy, especially in our society. I mean, sugar and alcohol is everywhere. You can't get away from it. And typically everybody around you is participating in such activities. And so, you're sort of the odd man, odd woman out a lot of the times when, you're in those situations where you have to say no to something that everybody else around you is doing. And then you have to maybe sometimes, I mean, I certainly do. Not anymore, I guess, but not for me. But for a lot of people who are kind of making that shift, a friend of ours, this young kid, Nick, who's an actor in town, he's just finally given up the sugar. It was really, really hard for him. And the alcohol thing too is, I mean, I stopped drinking about 25, 30 years ago. I don't know. It's been a long, long time. And I didn't do it for any particular reason. Well, that's not true. I stopped drinking because I misbehaved a little bit, when I did.
Well, you were younger then, so.
I was younger then. Everybody misbehaved in the 80s. Come on. And, but it didn't serve me anymore, especially doing what I did. And again, I just had more energy. It was easier to keep my body weight up. I didn't wake up with the flu every time I drank too much, that kind of a thing. It just made common sense for me. And sugar too was for me really, really hard. And every once in a while, if there's a chocolate chip cookie, I'm going to eat it. You know what I mean? But for the oh, it's just come out of the oven. Oh, please, God.
When they're warm, you can't say no to that.
No. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, soda pop and candy bars and all that silliness. Except occasionally when Sean and I are on the road, I will stop at the gas station and get a Snickers bar, but the small ones.
Well, because you know why? They really satisfy.
Correct. You are correct.
But no, sugar's hard. Growing up, I was a sugar crazy person. Like my mom, we didn't have sugar in our house, right? So I remember when I was a little girl, I rode my bike. It was an hour on my bicycle. We lived way out in the country in Illinois. And I rode my bike an hour to go to the antique store in town, which also had a candy counter. And that was like, and I would buy candy and I would hide it. And I loved it. And then when I was a young adult, all I would eat was Lucky Charms, Frosted Flakes, all the cereals, all the sugar cereals. And I still love that. But I just feel so bad when I eat sugar. And now being off of it, I really see what it does to my body and internally and just my mental focus and everything. So I just bit the bullet and kind of went cold turkey. And now I'm getting, I eat fruit for sugar and coconut sugar or monk fruit, whatever, all the
right
things that you can use now that are not sugar and they're better for you. So that's what
there's so many great substitutes now, and more people are learning about them. It's all about the glycemic index, right? So for the like occasionally I'll just put some rice syrup on some gluten-free high fiber pancakes like 4 times a year, just living it up. That's like my super cheat. You know, just to kind of reflect back to the old days. And I was the same way. I mean, we had the Cocoa Puffs and the Cocoa Krispies. We had the Cocoa everything. You know, we had
Yeah.
Cocoa Charms. I don't know. We had anything that was chocolatey and sugary and the Frosted Flakes. And there was a cabinet above the stove. I remember they were all lined up, these boxes. And
So
the
pretty.
eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but no moss, you know. So
Uh,
let me ask you, I'm gonna get right to the nitty gritty. What does your week look like workout wise, like Monday through Sunday? What do you do exactly? And why do you do it that way?
Well, I work out with a trainer that I've worked out with for quite a few years now, friend of mine, and I go to the gym 3 days a week. I keep it pretty simple. I do an hour workout and then I do stretching at night. When I do go to the gym, it's an hour usually, and I just hit it really hard for 1 hour. And then I just go on about my day because I'm super busy. And if I can carve out 1 hour a day, 3 times a week, and I put it on my calendar and nobody messes with it, and I don't ever cancel that, I feel like I'm good. That in addition to just my constant like running around in life and just being super active all the time. I'm not sitting around, you know, eating bonbons on the couch when I'm not at the gym. So, you know, I'm just really active, and just going to the gym those 3 days a week though has really transformed my body, cutting out the sugar. I don't eat dairy, just because I think it's evil. And then, you know, just watching my intake and being a little more conscious of what I put in and what it's going to take to get rid of that, you know, just giving it all a little more thought, and feeling great though.
Yeah. Now those, what do you, is there, other than just being active, the other 4 days of the week are just a little bit of cardio or just going for walks with the dogs or what?
I kind of live in the hills, so we walk with the dogs, and that's always fun. And we have a gym in our garage that I'll hit up, but I am a big stretcher. So I almost feel like when I stretch, I'm getting a workout somehow, because it's, you know, when you really focus on stretching your muscles and isolating them, and you're kind of just reconfirming your connection with them, you know? And then, right now it's just 3 days at the gym, and then the rest of the week is just super active.
And the gym days, are they pure weightlifting or some body weight stuff too? Your standard, you know, push-ups and dips or whatever else, or what's that look like?
Push-ups, dips, all those things, and then weight training. I just recently bought some gloves for my hands because I was getting those workout blisters. Yeah, those. And I didn't like the way those look, so I got some gloves.
I'm a dude. Look at that. It's pretty gnarly, I gotta say, but
yeah,
you know, they're custom made for pegboards and climbing rope and stuff. So
I love it. Yeah, I've been working on pull-ups, assisted pull-ups. I've been using a rubber band to help me, because I've never been strong in my upper body like that. So I really have a goal of getting to be able to do pull-ups. That's my goal.
Yeah, that's I mean, maybe at some point in our conversation, I'll show you my pull-up trick on how to get better at them.
Okay.
Do you want it now? I'll give it to you right now.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
So on the 4 days a week that you're not training with weights or body weights, with body weight or weights, do for the first 3 weeks, do 3 sets of whatever you can do pull-up wise in the house, down in your gym, in the garage. Just 3 sets in the morning with the band. Maybe your husband can assist you, whatever you want to do, but just do 3 sets super fast. You can get that done in under 5 minutes. And then at that night, same deal. Right. So I wouldn't do it before bedtime, but sometime, you know, between dinner and bedtime, you knock out 3 more sets, 1, 2, 3, and you do that for 3 weeks. And the following 3 weeks, after those 3 weeks are up, you do 4 sets for 3 weeks, morning and night. And then after that, you do 5 sets morning and night. And then, you know, it's what it is. I always say the more you do, the better you get. Right. So if that actually becomes a heavy part of your regular routine, then you'll get really, really good at it, you know. And so after that first 3 weeks and that 4 weeks and 5 weeks, just, you know, I mean, it happens so quickly, morning and night, that you'll probably just on your own, when you're fresh, you'll probably be able to crank out anywhere from maybe 5 to 8 on your own after that little process.
Okay. Well, I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Thanks for the Secret advice.
There you go. One of the things that I like that you said, and I've said this to my, this crew and others, is planning it, planning routines, and just announcing to the world, hey, this is my hour. And it's going to take me some time to get there and some time to get home and kind of freshen up when I'm done. And then when everybody knows that, you have no excuses, really. Let me ask you this. Are you a morning or a night or both workout person?
I'm a morning workout person. Yeah. I like to have a smoothie, go to the gym, get it out of the way. My gym currently is 30 minutes away. So I'm driving half an hour there and then half an hour.
Wow.
Back. Yeah. And then, so when I get home, I'm ready to shower and then just hit it for the rest of the day, get my work done. But yeah, that's super important. If you don't put it on your calendar, it's probably not going to happen. So I always make it a point to schedule my week. First and foremost, when are my workouts? And, everybody that works with me is really helpful in protecting those kind of 2 hours that it takes to get it done. And everybody's better for it,
What do you, here's a question for you. And I'm curious about this as well. For me, when I was younger, it was all about aesthetics and my ego. I was in the gym and I was single and I was just trying to pump iron to meet women. It turns out you also need a personality and maybe some money in the bank. Those are things and you're not mean, you know what I mean? Like there's really important things you need to do outside of being buff, you know what I mean? And then it, as I got into my 40s and now 50s and now mid 60s, my objective is completely different. It's as much mental and emotional as it is physical. I mean, it's important. I have ninja courses and ropes and pegboards and everything else. And I love to ski. Skiing is my favorite thing in the world, other than madly loving my wife and my dogs. So I train for those reasons as well. But I just, my whole thing is just about, it helps, because everybody's heard me say this a million times, the norepinephrine, the dopamine, the serotonin, the brain-derived neurotropic factor, like that explosion of chemicals inside of your brain. And I'm the source, right? I don't have to use cigarettes or booze or whatever other illicit activities anymore. And, this is harder. This is a harder choice. It's a disciplined choice, it takes some willpower and whatnot. And I'm assuming that's the same for you. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, but what you were saying you have more energy and stuff. Do you equate that directly to your healthy diet and your regular activity, would you say?
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, so many years spent trying to look good for other people. And now it's all about looking good for myself and feeling good. Both my parents are not pictures of health. My father's not with us anymore. He was suffered from heart disease for many years and finally succumbed to that. And my mom also has some heart issues now and a little bit of obesity, some kidney stuff going on, and I really do not want that for myself or for my kids. Now, kind of as my mom's gotten older and she's alone, I take care of her along with my sister. And I don't want that for my girls. Like I want to be healthy and, available to them whenever they need me and able to travel and pick up their kids and, do all the things that you're supposed to do later in life. And I want to be really healthy. And that's my main motivation for working out, is to physically stay healthy, stay limber, stay, agile, and for the mental aspect of it, because it just does something to me. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel more calm. It makes me, more goal oriented. Like I can tackle things a little bit better. So it's just about now working out for myself and for my longevity in the rest of my life.
And, the cherry on the cake there is being an example to your kids. They're seeing your behavior compared to their grandmother's behavior. Yeah. And they're seeing, how you look and feel and act compared to maybe how your mother, struggles. And they can see the difference between somebody who's struggling and somebody who's thriving. Right. So, and then, hopefully, how old are your 3 daughters?
26, 21, and 17.
Okay. Didn't expect those numbers at all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
crazy town. Yeah. Do people think that you are your oldest sister? That's got to happen, I would assume.
Yeah. They hate it when that happens. It does happen sometimes, but
Mm,
people know I have 3 kids, but yeah, they hate that. They hate
mm,
that.
yeah. You like it, I would assume. I'm sure
I mean,
the
I
girls
feel
know.
awkward. I feel weird. I feel like I'm one of their sisters most of the time because I'm like, oh wait, I'm the mom. All right,
Yeah.
okay, let me be
I have to not misbehave here. I'm supposed to be the disciplinarian.
exactly.
And but yeah, but probably because of your general state of being
Mhm.
it is upbeat and happy and active and
Yeah.
obviously you look years younger than you are, and so it wouldn't be totally strange. I mean, I'm sure your kids are like, oh god, here we go again. Me, I personally, like, when I'll meet people out and about, and the fact that I dye my beard pretty good, thank god I don't have to dye this. I don't know how that's still growing out at that color.
Oh,
But yeah, that I get years younger than I am, which is purely based on my insecurity and massive ego. But so that's awesome.
yeah.
Now what about your kids? Are they in sports? Are they exercising? I mean, they're obviously old enough to be either keyed in or semi keyed in. I mean, where are they in that process right now?
Well, like you said, they've been modeled what it is like to be healthy. We all have, all 3 of my girls have incredibly healthy diets for the most part. My teenagers is in her in and out stage right now. She goes there and eats like a grilled cheese sandwich or something because I never gave them meat growing up, and none of us eat dairies, but she does. She goes to In and Out and eats that. But other than that, they're just super like health conscious, and they want to be healthy too. And they're so proud of me taking care of myself that they want to do that too. And it's, we share recipes. I take them to the gym with me. My oldest comes to visit from New York, and she goes and works out with me. She can barely keep up, Tony, I'm telling you.
I'm not surprised. You got that P90X history, my dear.
Yeah.
And then if you ever start showing up over here, we'll take you to the next level if you
Oh,
sort of,
okay.
you know.
Yeah, but
Um,
they're very, very healthy girls, and working out for them also is not about as much about their bodies as it is that they feel good when they do it, and
mm,
young girls in this world today, mental health is, I mean, any kids these days, anybody these days, mental health is like so challenging, and to
mm,
find that balance and that clarity and that peace. And I know that they know that living a healthy lifestyle is really a huge contributing factor to that. So that's what they do, but they've always been soccer players, and
mm.
my youngest is now a cheerleader, which I thought was not as challenging as it is, but she is working so hard.
Really
Uh,
hard.
yeah,
Really hard.
2 and
Yeah.
3 days a week, and at the games, it's a lot of work. So they're all really, really into it. My oldest runs she lives in Manhattan, and she runs the streets of New York. She runs through Central Park pretty much every morning.
Wow. God, that's a great start to your day in New
Yeah.
York City, running in Central Park. Um, what are you any particular would you say you're a vegan or pescatarian or vegetarian? I mean, I'm no wheat, no soy, no dairy unless it slips in. I'm not, I'm not so stringent about it. Oh, look, there's corn in the salad. Oh, I'll just
Right.
eat the damn salad. You know
Not
what I mean? But
annoying like that either. Like,
yeah,
I mean, at my house, I can control it, but when you go out, you got to like loosen your parameters sometimes just a little.
right, right.
Yeah, we're no dairy, no wheat, no red meat, no pork, no sugar. I'm like, wait, what do we eat?
Yeah. People forget there's a whole lot of other stuff that ain't that stuff. You know what I mean? That is incredibly healthy. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. There's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of those foods. I think the reason why a lot of people struggle, and this is leading into my next question, is they don't know what to ask for when they go to a restaurant, especially when they look at the menu and they go, "Oh my God, I'm trying to eat right, but I see nothing here in front of me." I mean, Sean and I ran into that a little bit in Vegas. And, but I found the one thing there and I found the one thing there and I just ate that, and then of course, waiters like to be tipped. So I always ask for, "Hey man, can I have this and that? Can you take that out?" And 9 times out of 10, they do it. Do you guys, are you more eating out? Are you more cooking at home, or do you like to cook? Where are you on the eating out, cooking at home, scenario?
Well, I'm from the Midwest, and so eating at home is sort of like ingrained in my fibers.
Mm.
We eat at home more than we eat out for sure. And I don't really like to leave the house very often. So when we eat out, it means the food comes here. The delivery man comes
Right.
out
Right.
and we say thank you. But yeah, we're more about cooking and all hanging out together, and it's enjoyable for the family. It's like our family time to cook together, eat together. Somebody cleans it up while I lay around on the couch, stuff like that.
Well, good plan.
Yeah.
Excellent plan. And are you guys pretty good at all sitting at the table at the same time and having a meal like that, like I did back in the 60s and 70s?
It used to be so much easier, but now
Now
like
they're
one's in New York, the other
right.
one's here, usually working, and the other one's at school or cheer practice. So it's like once a week, we're gonna sit down as a family around the table with no TV and no phones and just kind of hang out together. So it's down to once a week now.
Great. Now, what about your husband? Is he a fitness person? What is his regiment?
You probably don't remember him. You played softball with my husband. I don't even know what league it was.
Oh, I was younger then.
Yeah.
Really? Were we on the same team?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God. What is your husband's name?
Dave Abrams. He's very tall and thin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
I
don't know.
faintly remember that. I remember him being pretty good.
He's a really good baseball player.
Yeah, I remember him being really, yeah. And I remember not being much so. That's
Listen,
right.
we
Yeah,
can't all be good at everything. Okay.
yeah. I'm good
but
at ropes, I guess.
he eats what we eat. So when he, signed up to be a part of this family, he signed up to eat a lot of vegan food, and he loves it. He's full on, he'll eat it instead of meat now. And he doesn't eat a burger now, he'll eat a vegan burger. And so he's transformed along with us.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the restaurant that we were at, the Hilton Casino in Vegas. And, a lot of these vegan restaurants are popping up, and they're just, but early on they were, it's like eating sawdust for the most part. And, God, I'm forgetting the name. I feel terrible. Maybe my wife will jump in here at some point and remind me. But I had one of the best meals I've ever had in my life. You know what I mean? And I'm not, for me, I'm not, I failed at veganism twice because I wasn't getting enough protein. And then when I got Ramsay Hunt syndrome back in October of 2017, I was vegan, but I just felt malnourished. I didn't feel like I was doing it. I was eating a lot of, vegan crackers and cookies and garbage. Right. And having my shakes, but just not getting enough protein based on what I was doing to myself. So that might have contributed to my illness. And then after I got sick, I did a ton of blood work, and I want to ask you about that as well. What kind of other, I want to cover, that, and also your recovery techniques other than stretching maybe. But after I had the blood work done, that's when I had to cut out sesame seeds and tomatoes and, and cashews and, almost shellfish, which I don't eat anyway. And now, and the wheat, the soy, the corn, the dairy. And now that I've kept that all out, I don't have the aches and pains that I used to have. And speaking of aches and pains, like my knees, I used to have to get Orthovisc and PRP in both my knees about every year, a year and a half. It's so weird that now that I've changed my diet, the inflammation's down, not only in my organs, my digestive system's functioning better, but I don't need those injections, and they're not cheap either. So like when you're injured or super sore for some reason, I mean, do you have an infrared sauna, a cold plunge, a Theragun, foam rolling, other than stretching? Are you a yoga person at all?
Honestly, you couldn't pay me enough to get into a cold body of water. So that is never going to happen for me. I don't care how cool it makes you look. I'm not doing it. But yeah, I'll have a foam roller. We have a Theragun thing and hot baths. I am I love a hot bath with Epsom salts.
Hmm.
If I'm really sore, those really sore days.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it gets better. You're not as sore all the time now. My body's a little more used to it. So I don't
Right.
face that very often. But yeah, I do notice like my knees, like you were talking about your knees. I don't know what's going on in there. It's hard to get up and down
What's
nowadays.
going on in there?
I
Yeah.
don't know. I think it might be arthritis.
Could be.
But yeah, so things are definitely changing, but I'm rolling with it and I'm trying
Yeah.
to work around things and make the best of it. But as far as recovery, the only thing I really do is definitely eat protein after a workout.
Mhm.
And I have been drinking aminos.
Yeah.
Yeah, aminos.
Right. Which is
Um,
part of your recovery, part of the
uh,
healing process. Yeah.
yeah, and I drink the other powder, which is hydrating, whatever that's called, electrolytes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But protein
Um,
is tricky when, it's really hard. I mean, especially as we women get older, protein is so very important.
mhm.
And it's hard, especially when you don't eat meat and stuff like that, to find it. But my two favorite like protein hacks right now currently are hemp seeds. Loving those hemp seeds.
Yeah, the hemp seeds in the shake is gold.
So good. On
So
the
simple.
salad, then you got there's your protein, like it's right there.
Yep.
My other one is, I don't know if they carry it at all Whole Foods, but it's this product called Pumfu.
And
Have
what
heard
is it? Was it's some kind of a plant, I'm assuming.
Yes, it's like tofu. It's like a brick, like tofu you would have, but it's made entirely out of pumpkin seeds, and it is so
Pumfu.
good. Pumfu.
What is happening?
It's delicious, I'm telling you, and there's no soy in it, and it's just pure pumpkin protein.
Oh, I am on that. Dora, are you listening?
You're
More
gonna
Pumfu at the Horton house. It's interesting what you say about the cold plunge, because it's just the thing. Everybody's getting in there.
Oh,
Wim
I
Hof
might
and
see one more video of somebody getting in an ice tub thing. I can't.
well, it's interesting that you say that because I was at I don't know if you've ever been to IDEA Health and Wellness Conference that they have it once a year. Usually it's either in San Diego or it's here at the convention center in downtown LA. And I hadn't been in a while, I think probably because of COVID or something. And I usually get invited to go teach a class or, share my wares when I was with Beachbody, talk about whatever we were doing. And, I'm not with Beachbody anymore. And they changed hands. So they forgot about me or something. So I said, I'm going to go on my own. I'm just going to go. And just to say hello to, I know Elaine Lillane, who was Jack Lallane's wife.
Uh-huh.
And one year when, he had already passed, I met him in an airport once, like dozens of years ago. And so we became friends because she gave me the Jack LaLanne Award, which was just the coolest damn thing. And we're on a stage with Jack LaLanne's wife doing push-ups. And I think she was 90 at the time.
Wow.
So I go to IDEA and I'm going to all the booths, saying hello to everybody. And there's, cold plunge 1, cold plunge 2. And there's like 8 of them in this place. And I get talking to somebody and they want to give me one. So I said, I ain't going to turn that down.
Yeah.
And then Shauna can tell you, it's been in this, like right here, right below my office, back here on the outside. And I really want to get in. I've seen the research and it's supposed to bring dopamine, supposed to go, inflammation's going down. And you know what I mean? And I love to ski. I'll ski at -10, but I've got enough stuff on that you can't even see me,
Mhm.
And the first time I got in there, 37 seconds. That was it. Just
Well,
miserable, horrible. And I've been
awful.
in it. I've had it over a month and a half. I've been in it 4 times.
Well, that's
So
pretty good, honestly. I mean,
yeah,
if you're into that, I'm not. Even if
I want to be. I think I want to be, and
I
based
have a
on what I do.
pool that doesn't have a heater, so our pool is always freezing.
Mhm.
Try and cold plunge if you want.
Yeah, that's cold plungy enough.
Yeah.
And the reason why I bring up the cold plunge and the infrared sauna and all those different things is, I mean, everybody's talking about. There's so many like recovery was not even a topic. There was sleep and water. That was your recovery. That's right. You do whatever you were doing. You're working out. You just, oh, why am I sore? You're just getting in and you're dehydrated and you're sleep deprived. And so are you pretty good with your sleep and your water? Are you consistent with that? What is your regimen on that? Those
This
two.
is my emotional support water bottle.
Nice. Has
It
it been
goes
blessed? Has it been
everywhere.
blessed by the Pope? I'm curious.
Might as well have been. It goes everywhere with me. And I drink a lot of water. And I usually have some sort of like hydration powder in it or amino powder or something, because I get a little bored with just plain water.
Yeah.
And so yeah, there's that. And I use every night before I go to sleep, just precautionary at this point. I use Dr. Amen's, they're called Put Me to Sleep. They're like wafers that you eat.
Hmm.
And they make me sleep beautifully every night.
Is it an electrolyte formula kind of thing, or is it sort of a?
It's more along the lines of ashwagandha and
Oh,
what's the other thing? Melatonin and light, starts with an L, but I can't remember it.
is there astaxanthin in there?
I don't know.
Yeah. Hmm.
But they work really well.
Yeah, it's interesting. For me personally, because I'm in the biz, right? And everybody's trying to give me something to try of theirs. And,
Yeah.
oh, it's the latest. And here's all the research and science and yada, yada, yada. And so I have an infrared sauna, and I have foam rollers, and I have Theraguns, and I have a cold plunge that I've been in 5 times in a month and a half. And, I have all this stuff. But what I've noticed, and I'm curious what you think, if this is true for you or anybody else who's kind of listening, is when I'm hydrated and I've got my 8.5+ hours of decent sleep, I don't need all the other accoutrement. I don't need it. I really I wake up and I feel like, oh, I'm well rested. I don't have any aches or pains. I'm ready to go down to the gym and kill it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, to each his own,
Mm.
but if I had an infrared sauna, I would use it. If I could have one of those hyperbaric chambers, I would probably use that. But I don't have any desire to go like buy a series of those at a business. I have no desire to go to, spend my time in someone else's business. If I can do it at home, I'll do it, but I don't leave the house for much.
Let's see. Does anybody have any questions for Jennie at all? Either from our page or the other page? I've got a few, but I feel like I've been bogarting most of your time with all my questions. And is there anything else that you wanted to touch on as we continue?
I think.
And are people allowed to ask you Hollywood questions?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't
Good.
care.
Doesn't have to all be about how many reps on bicep. By the way, give me what was your last workout? What did you do specifically? I'm curious.
Well, my last workout was kind of weird because I think my trainer was in a grumpy mood, and
Oh,
yeah, he wasn't like as fun as he usually is. And so I just like really buckled down and just worked out. Didn't try to cheer him up, didn't ask him what was wrong, didn't, I just was like, oh, he's in a thing, I'll let him do it. And so it made me work out harder and faster, which was okay. But we break it up. Like if he has me doing arms and core, then I'll definitely work. I'm always wanting to do lower body, legs, squats, lunges, those kinds of things.
right.
So we really do mix it up every time and kind of do a combo. It's never just arms day or legs day. It's like whole body day.
So he's into the whole muscle confusion thing then a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And I started to see like my muscle definition coming in hot, and like I felt like, oh, am I bulking up? I don't want to be muscular. That's not what the look that I really want for myself. And we talked about it. And so sometimes I'll do lighter reps, but I still really do believe that as you get older, you need to have those strong muscles that are supporting your bones and your joints, because it's going to hold you together, as you get older. And so I'm not shy of lifting a little weight or, I'm not really as worried about bulking up as I am just being strong and having my muscles be really strong.
So you have some days where you're just high repping and lower weights. And do you ever have like, hey, I want to lift a little bit heavier today, and like in the 8 to 10 range rep wise? Or are you more like a 12 to 15 to 20 rep gal, or do you mix
I'm
it up?
usually 12 to 15, but if we go up, then it's 10,
Right,
yeah.
right. And he is pretty good at really kind of throwing different things at you. It's like when you go show up to certain workout days, you're like, I don't really know what he's got up his sleeve, but I'm game, and let's do it, because he knows
Yeah, I
what
like
he's
to
doing.
keep it mixed up because I get bored really easily. So
Mm.
it's not fun when you're bored in the gym. And I like to, there's so many exercises you can do, so many different variations on a lunge, there's so many things you can do when you have
Right.
that equipment.
Right.
So we really do.
So you're using cable, you're using dumbbells, you're using bands at all? Has he got you using bands to any degree, or?
Yeah, sometimes bands, mostly hand weights, cable. Oh, you know what I hate? I hate kettlebells.
Yeah. Mm.
Kettlebells? Is it
Kettlebells. You
Oh,
hate them so much, you don't
I
know what they're
hate
called.
kettlebells and bells. I hate anything.
Balls,
with bells.
bells, logs, bowling balls, all of
I
it.
don't like them.
Yeah, because there's a lot of bang on the wrist,
Yeah, it hits that part.
yeah. Well, I have these, I don't know if I have any left, but these sandbag ones, maybe I'll, if I've gotten it, you can have them, and they're a little less aggressive on the wrist. And there's also a company that makes soft rubber ones, like they give a little bit, so they're not that metal. I mean, there's so many better ways to do it.
Yeah, and those metal ones, they stink. Like, what is that smell?
That's 700 people who've had their hands all over them since before you got to the gym. That's the gym maintenance folks who haven't done their job at sterilizing those things.
I don't like this.
Sean and I were at the Mirage gym, and it was a little tired and old in there. I saw a lot of afraid things. I saw a lot of rusty things. I saw a lot of dusty things. It was sort of like, I was breaking into the hand sanitizer quite a bit while I was in there.
Smart.
And we both came away unscathed. So here's a question from Amy V. Are we ready? What does a day of meals look like for you, Jennie?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like smoothies in the morning. I make a smoothie every morning. And I put a lot of stuff in there.
Like, give me the lowdown. Give me the lowdown.
Spinach,
What goes in
spinach, frozen blueberries, half a frozen banana, maca powder,
yeah.
flaxseed oil,
Mhm.
NCT oil, hemp seeds. What else? Sometimes some chia, royal jelly powder.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good one.
Just a little dab of that. Almond milk or oat milk, whatever. I've recently been making my own almond milk, which is a lot of work.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the one thing about almonds is here in California, we grow all our almonds here, and it takes about a gallon of water to grow an almond.
Yeah.
So I because of that, I switched over, and you might want to try this, and I think some of these folks have as well. I switched over to flaxseed meal.
Okay. Milk.
Yeah.
I've never had that.
Flaxseed meal, just as high in protein, and has, you get the vanilla one, and it's pretty flavorful, and you don't have to worry about, all those almond trees that we're trying to keep alive.
Or milking the little almonds.
I mean, think how much that's the labor alone on that. It's got to be crazy. By the way, you think that's a big deal? How about milking those flax seeds? That you're gonna need.
Those are so tiny.
Yeah, you know what they use bees. Like bees get in there and do that.
Yeah. No, that's all that's in my smoothie, I think. Oh, maybe some protein powder if I'm feeling I need a little bit more. But the hemp seeds really get me. Oh, and I put a handful of walnuts in there.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
So that's how many calories is that monster? Do you what is it, like 600 calories, that thing?
Probably.
Wow. And then when do you eat again? Like, when is your next meal?
I will eat within an hour after I work out. So that's usually like 11, 12. And I'll usually on the way home from the gym, because I said it's a 30-minute drive, I've been eating these little bars called Papa Steve's. Have you heard of those?
Papa Steve's?
Papa Steve. And they are plant-based. I think 12 grams of protein in there, no sugar, no added sugar. So I love those for my on the way home. Then I'll come home and hopefully there's, I'll make a salad with some pumfu, or lately I've been just cutting up the pumfu, tossing it around in some olive oil and salt and pepper, adding some broccoli. Today we put mushrooms, oyster mushrooms in there, and just sort of giving it a little cook on the stove. So yummy, like stir fry. So that's
Really
lunch. And if I didn't have a salad for lunch, I'll usually do a salad for dinner. Salad, maybe I'll have some salmon, maybe I'll have a little bit of chicken if I can, like chicken. I'm usually like, maybe I have it, maybe I don't. I don't know. It just depends on how I'm feeling about
on your mood.
Yeah.
Now, what about you say you stay away from red meat? Have you ever had elk?
Oh, no.
No elk, wouldn't do it.
No.
Well,
eat an elk.
It's funny. My wife and I have a place in Jackson Hole, so there's elk in the yard. You know what I mean? They're everywhere. We have elk and bear and moose and lions and tigers. Well, we don't have the lions and tigers, but we have everything else. And and I eat plant-based food, but whenever we show up in a restaurant and there is, medium rare elk medallions on the menu, I go deep. I go way in. That's like my cheat food, but it's one of the most spectacular things I've ever eaten. I mean, and I'm not a steak guy. I could, whatever, but elk's a little different, I mean? And the elk is, it was alive, like, 3 hours earlier.
Yeah. That's the whole part of it that I can't.
The animal. I get it. But chickens are cool. You're good with them.
Well, sometimes if they're ugly, because there's ugly chickens and then there's the cute fluffy ones. You don't want to eat those.
Okay.
So I like to pick out just the ugly chickens and eat them.
And by the way, I only eat the most hideous looking elk you've ever seen. Like,
okay, good.
They're like a 2. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have them eat my parents. They're just the most hideous elk. That's awesome. So a shake, salads. Do you do one shake a day, or do you ever have 2 a day?
No, usually one.
Yeah.
And then I sip on my amino waters. I feel like that has contributed a lot to leaning me out, in conjunction with working out. But it really has made a difference. And I will have like a no sugar treat before bed, or
like what, like a handful of nuts or popcorn or
no, usually I want something sweet, so I'll usually have some. Have you ever had whipped coconut?
Yes.
I found it at Erewhon once, and it was like $400 for a bottle this big, because everything there. So
well, it's Erewhon. For those of you who don't know what Erewhon is, it's a place where people want to spend the maximum amount of money for things they don't have to, because they get to see Jennie Garth next to him at the deli. That's why they go there.
It is a who's who, but they got this thing called coconut whip and cocoa whip, and it's just coconut, and there's no sugar or anything in it. It's so good. You just put some berries and a little almonds on it. There you go.
Yeah, wow, that sounds amazing. And maybe a little like the the little wild frozen blueberries. That's what I've done with whipped coconut, because the frozen blueberries aren't hard like ice.
Right.
They're kind of, you mix it up and you wait 5 minutes, and it's just, cold and creamy and blueberry-y and
I'm on a blueberry. I can't get enough blueberries right now, but there are 3 stores I went to yesterday, no blueberries.
We've run into that a little bit, the no blueberry thing, which is,
what's happening?
I don't know. You and I are taking them all from everybody else, and now they've caught on. Dang it. So here, some great questions, and let me get to these. Do you ever fast?
I've tried fasting. My manager is a big faster. He's in his late 60s, and he's really fit, loves all things fitness, and he's very inspirational. And he loves that intermittent fasting. But I did it. I've done it. I lost weight on it. But then when I stopped fasting, my weight kind of just went back to what it was. So I stopped doing that, because it didn't really it didn't do anything for me.
The program that we have on Power Nation now. So when I left Beachbody, we had this, and my wife and I during the pandemic were just, bored and everybody was stuck at home. So we would do a weekly Friday dance party, so Shauna can dance. And I was just, I was popping and locking mostly because I used to be a mime at the pier so I could eat. But we did that for activity. We did yoga one day a week. And I did yoga one day a week. And then we did a plyometrics class. And then from that kind of, people were like, well, why don't you make a little program based on what you're doing? And so we had beta 1, beta 2, beta 15. We had some of these folks were in those beta sessions, and in the early months we had masks on and the sound was terrible. But anyway, we were just at least trying. And from that, we built this platform and a website and an app, and it's called Power Nation. And one of the routines there is the Power of 4. And most recently, we met with Dr. Mindy Pelz, who wrote a book called Fast Like a Girl, and based on a lot of her research. A lot of it has to do with, and this isn't the case for all women, but a lot of women have really struggled with their fitness, and they've either gotten burnt out, or they've gotten injured, or they've gotten bored, or they've plateaued, or whatever it is, or some combination thereof. And she discovered that. And she experimented on herself with P90X. She did P90X and changed the calendar based on her hormonal fluctuations, like her testosterone and her. And this whole program is designed for post, pre, perimenopausal gals. And we've got even some of these people here looking in have been doing it and getting results for the first time, which is, we're really proud of that and excited to get to do that. Have you noticed that, where are you in that cycle, and does that affect you when it comes to your workouts and what you can and can't do? Do you kind of track that, or you just kind of muscle your way through it?
I'm muscling my way through it, taking no prisoners. But I'm in the middle of it for sure. And it's full of surprises. You never know what the day's going to bring. It's so fun. But I take some great supplements, women's phase. I can't remember who makes it, so I can't say it, but really help me with any kind of like night sweating or sweating. What's that? Hot flashes. Really, once I feel my body doing something that I don't want it to be doing, whether it's having a hot flash or having a reaction to alcohol, I omit the thing that's giving me the hassle. You can't really omit menopause. It's coming for you no matter what, but I tackle it. So I'm taking supplements that make me get through it a lot easier.
Well, good. You found your way, that's awesome. Yeah.
And for sure, there are days when I go to the gym and I'm like, I'm exhausted, and I don't want, your moods, it's just all tied together. Your hormones are so strong. And if they're off a little bit, it really does affect you in so many ways.
The question I get a lot, and people assume, especially maybe they assume this of you as well, based on the fact that you've committed to this lifestyle, you're super fit for somebody who's, over 50. Most women over 50 aren't. And so most people assume, and there's a question in here where they said, what was the catalyst or motivator for you on any given day? Is it just because you have to, and if you don't, the end result in the long term is just for more struggle in your life than you really want to? And people say, have you always loved fitness? And I say, I have never loved fitness. I've never loved it. What, are you kidding me? I mean, there's pain, and it's just awful. And I don't hate it either, right? It's not like this.
I used to hate working out, like, the last thing I ever want to do. But now I kind of like it because I know that I can do it, and I know the benefits that I'm going to get from it and how I'm going to feel after I do it. So now it's, once you're in, but it takes a minute to get, to jump in there and start swimming. But yeah, that it's about, when you say a lot of women, here's the thing. As women, we spend a lot of our lives taking care of other people. Men do too sometimes, but women notoriously are always taking care of someone else. I know I am. And when I turned 50, I decided that it was time to choose myself and put myself first. And, you know, I see my parents, I'm not going down that road. I'm absolute about it. And that's what drives me. And also my message to other women, you know, when I do post my workouts on, which is something that I just kind of started doing, and people seem to really respond to it. And if I get comments or people come up to me and talk to me about it and say that it's helped, if I get that encouragement back from other people, if I'm motivating them, and it motivates me, and it's so reciprocal, and I never really felt that before. So now to be able to share my fitness journey with my community of friends and followers on my platforms, it's a whole different ballgame, because it's motivational for them. It's motivational for me. There's so much sharing that can go on there, recipes and, you know, different ideas. It's just really broadened the world of working out for me.
Well, you know, it's because you have a pretty decent following, right? And people really, I mean, I don't know you very well. I'm learning about you, you know, during the course of this Zoom call. I mean, you know, right off the bat, you seem very authentic and very kind and very thoughtful and honest. Either that or you're a great actress, either one. You're also a great actress, but you know, it's funny because what's that?
I'm not that good. I couldn't fake being a nice person, I don't think.
Yeah, me neither. But you know, it's interesting when my wife and I were in Rhode Island, you know, I mean, I don't get out of the house much. I mean, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to Florida tomorrow, and then I'm going to Salt Lake City like the week after that, and then we're going to Jackson Hole. So those are when I leave the house. For the most part, I don't go out. You know what I mean? We have a nice place here, and I have like 15 different places where I work out, and I like just hanging out with my wife and my dogs. I used to go out to bars and clubs and party in my 20s and 30s and 40s, and now I'm in my 60s. I'm not that interested in that. So when I finally go out and I hear these stories from people, you know, you kind of forget, because P90X and all that is in the rear view mirror, and you don't assume that anybody's doing it anymore.
Right.
And we were in line for Love, that show in Vegas, and this gentleman was in the military. I guess he had a terrible accident. He broke his back in 2 places, and they said he was going to never walk, or maybe with a walker if he was lucky. And here he was standing next to me, walking right next to me. And he said, P90X rehabbed my life. I mean, my doctors said, you can't do that. That's too intense. And he said, I just figured it out and I did it. And you know, his wife was, you know, just, you know, almost in tears about what it did. And you hear that story. I mean, I heard that, I don't know how many times this past weekend, you know, and I've heard it in Rhode Island, and you're like, crap, I guess that thing that I, you know, made really did things other than help people's weight loss and their bicep growth. You know what I mean? It was, and the fact that, you know, because of the influence that you can be, this is really exciting. It's kind of a neat thing. And you don't want to all of a sudden not do it and then start showing up overweight, you know what I mean? Or out of shape, because, you know, you don't want to be a hypocrite either. And so I mean, I stay consistent and I work hard, because I want to walk the walk, and I want to be that example to folks when I meet them, and I want to shake their hands and take selfies and whatever it takes, because it's these folks that help me have the lifestyle that I have and be able to go to France and Rome and do whatever, you know.
I mean, I always tell people, if I can do this, you can do this, because I'm just like you. I don't want to work out. I want to eat things that I shouldn't be eating. I'm doing it, and so can you. And so that's really been my message. And I've been using my platform to sort of spread the message of, I call it, I choose me. And I want people to declare that for themselves. I choose me, and put themselves first and see what happens.
It's awesome. I was going to say, what do we have here? It's 6 o'clock. I don't want to hold you up too much longer. I was just wondering if anybody else. Here's a question. What brand of aminos do you use in your water?
I rotate, because like I said, I get bored easily. So throughout the day, I'll use a few different ones. One I just got was called Pure Body aminos. And I don't know the names of the other ones, but they are, you know, the no sugar.
Right.
No animal-y parts. I don't know. My manager, he told me, oh, wait till you find out what's in those aminos, and you're not going to want to drink them. But then I went and looked, and there's nothing in there bad that I am identifying as something I wouldn't want to drink. It's not made out of animals, right?
Well, amino acids are usually found in meat, but there are other sources, plant sources of amino acids. I have my own protein powder, which you're going to be getting if you want it.
Yeah.
And we'll send you the plant-based. We have chocolate and vanilla. Yeah, so that we have the full amino profile in ours.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure you found ways to do it.
Mhm.
As I talk to you, and we're getting back into the influence you're having and the response that you're getting from people based on, just living your lifestyle, doing it the way you're doing it, being very authentic and telling people the truth. I'm not really in the mood, but I show up because I know what the consequences are if I don't, and some of my workouts are maintenance days, you know what I mean? Like my workout today was, I don't want to say I was going through the motions, but at times I picked a lighter weight. I did less reps. You know what I mean? I wasn't going for it. Unlike when I was in Vegas. I don't know why in Vegas. I was into it. You know what I mean? Probably because I was on vacation. I had more energy and we were sleeping until 9:30. That might have been it too. But I think it's time for your next program. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really do. Now I know people who can probably produce it for you, but boy, it wouldn't be terrible to have you on our platform. Anybody here want to have Jennie's workout program on our platform? And the hands go up.
I love it.
And then, by the way, no restrictions. If you want to do one for us and for my, we've got, thousands of folks that are on it and love it. And then, it wouldn't be like we would restrict you from doing it somewhere else. But I think you'd be loved and admired, and you make a few bucks too. So.
I'm always open to it. Yeah, I mean, the fans of Beverly Hills 90210, which is the show that I became famous for, are so loyal. And they follow me and all of us wherever we go in our careers. And I've had the great privilege of meeting a lot of them and talking to them and reading fan mail. And there are still people out there that talk to me about my first exercise video and say things like, I couldn't do traditional aerobics back then. I couldn't work out, and I did yours in my living room and it helped me so much. I'm like, wow. Like you said, I feel like that I've made a difference in one person's life, or I motivated one person today, then I feel good,
Yeah, it's a nice living. I mean, I feel very like I'm doing this gig in Florida, and it's a bunch of osteopaths, people who are well-educated guys and gals and I'm there to sort of help them deal with their patients, in a way, because a lot of them are just showing up ruined and wrecked, and they don't have a healthy lifestyle. So the whole seminar is really about how do you inspire and motivate people to make the leap that you've made, make the leap that I've made, make the leap that a lot of people who are looking at us have made. And it's not easy, and it's not perfect, and you're going to have good days and bad. And, I always say, I'm known for do your best and forget the rest. And that pretty much covers it, right? All you have to do is show up and pay attention when you're there and
through it. Yeah.
And not be so attached to the outcome. I'm not attached to any other outcome other than just sort of being in the room and being curious and intuitive while I'm in the midst of doing whatever I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to pick up this weight for this batch. Should I stick with it, go heavier or go lighter? And I just I'm going to go lighter, because that was a struggle and I was miserable. So, as opposed to a lot of people, I got to go heavier now because I'm tracking my progress. And if I don't get better between week 1 and week 4, then I'm a loser. It's like, turn all that noise off, and just be here and do your best you can.
I was in Phoenix this last weekend talking at the Women's Expo, and got asked a question, something like that. And I started thinking, like, it came from my parents. When I was younger, I was taught that there's nothing I can't do. And sometimes you forget that. And sometimes you let fear get in the way of a lot of things. And when you reach a certain age, you just sort of blow right through that. When you really want something, there's nothing you can't do. And I think, that really resonated with a lot of the women that were listening to me, who probably weren't in the best health and who hadn't worked out or don't work out. And for me to say to them, there is nothing you can't do. And really, I mean it. They feel it, and then they feel that way too. And then they can take that and make some different choices in their lives. And that's the greatest part, about having some sort of a platform to be able to talk to people and motivate people and make a difference in some way.
And because you've got a fan base, you have that platform, and you're delivering a message that maybe they never got.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right. I
Their
mean,
parents
you're very fortunate that you got that from your parents. I saw my father on the weekends, and I was usually holding his golf clubs. You know what I mean? Whatever. I mean, my dad was supporting us and did the best he could, you know what I mean? But I was basically raised by my mom and my two sisters in the house. And so, you know, it was the 50s. You know what I mean? Like I got on a love you finally when I called them up in my sophomore year of college. Hey, I just want to let you guys know that I love you. And they both like, what's wrong? Do you need money? No, I'm just saying I love you. I think we should do that. Because a friend of mine's dad had passed away and they weren't very close. And we all, you know, we were in a fraternity house. Why am I going down this road? But you know what I mean? Like everybody's childhood is different. And you know, thank God that you had those messages, and it probably had a lot to do with your willingness to try no matter what. And you've been a great success. And now it's awesome because it's your turn to be able to share that with others. And because you have that platform and they like and respect you, you're the catalyst for their personal growth and their change and it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's awesome.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. A question just popped up. Here we go. We'll finish with this one, Jennie, and then we'll say goodbye. Jennie, I hope you really consider recording some of the workouts with Tony's platform. Was that a plant?
Who did that?
Interesting. Well, it's not really a question, but it's a genius statement by Mary. Thank you, Mary. And I'm sure my people will be contacting yours. About that.
Yeah, go on.
Anyway, really a real pleasure to chat with you and get to know you. And thank you for doing this.
So many years of seeing you and knowing who you are and what you do out there, and just really, it feels great to meet you and talk to you. I love it.
Likewise. Well, hope we stay in touch, and maybe we'll do it in person one day, sooner than later.
Okay.
Thank you, Jennie, very, very much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
See you later.
Thanks, everybody. Woohoo.
You know, I'm glad that you've really enjoyed this interview. I can tell because you're watching it, because I can see you. Anyway, since you're here, I know you're really going to fall madly in love with this next one. I mean, I'm talking about knowledge consumed by you. All you got to do is go right over there